'cause you know who's talking. Ooh, if there's truth in the static, Tom Gulley, from where you're looking. Ooh, you gotta dial G for Gulley. 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 Sunrise greets him with a golden crown. Tom Gulley's ready, no time to slow down. His voice a river, smooth and deep. He's got the stories that make the city weep. Walking streets where legends grow. Everywhere he stops, they already know. Tom Gulley goes to town. Oh, he lights it up, never lets it down. Tom Gulley goes to town. He's the man they cheer, the talk of the town. Oh yeah, woo yeah, woo yeah. Barbershop chatter, a wave and a grin. Coffee shop wisdom, let the tales begin. The baker hands him a loaf with a smile. Tom, you're the man who makes life worthwhile. A mic in his hand, the airwaves ignite. He spins a story, he turns on the light. Listeners gather from far and wide. Tom Gulley's words, a city's pride. He lights it up, never lets it down. Tom Gulley goes to town. He's the man they cheer, the talk of the town. Tom Gulley goes to town. He lights it up, never lets it down. Tom Gulley goes to town. He's the man they cheer, the talk of the town.
Tom Gulley's got a mic in his hand. Ooh yeah, talking Bigfoot tracks in the sand. Hole punches, spiders, conspiracies tight. He's podcasting strong, deep into the night. From the man from UNCLE to the Motown scene. He's dropping gems like you never seen. Oh, you know Tom Gulley, he's the podcast king. Say what? Ladies man with a smooth, sweet swing. Bigfoot, spider, and 9/11 schemes. Tom's a man of your wildest dreams. Tom Gulley, he's got charm, got wit, and a silky flow. Oh yeah, talking mysteries only Tom would know. From R&B to the funk so tight, so tight. He's spinning webs like a spider at night. His voice is smooth like a Motown jam. Ooh, you can't help but say that's my man. Oh yeah, Tom Gulley, he's the podcast king. Ladies man with a smooth, sweet swing. Bigfoot, spiders, and 9/11 schemes. Tom's the man of your wildest dreams. Tom Gulley, I'm gonna, Tom Gulley, I'm gonna, Tom Gulley, I'm gonna,
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking? Let me tell you about Marfan Syndrome here this evening. Viewer requested, by the way. You may not feel that great about yourself after we go over all the details of Marfan Syndrome. In case you're wondering what it is, you'll find out. There's famous people, there's all sorts of stuff. And oh, by the way, leave your moronic political ideology out of my chat room unless you want to be gone forever. I don't need to hear it. Whatever screw loose you've got in your head, I don't need to hear it. How about that? Hey, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, and let's see here. Those are free things you can do. They only cost you a click, and they help us out with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing algorithm. And, yeah, somebody's going to get lit up here when I start going through these comments. That person probably should just leave if they don't want to. Oh, God. You know, the show hasn't even started yet, and I got to deal with. Anyway, we do have super chats, we do have memberships, we do have the ever popular PayPal. That's where you give the most, I get the most, and YouTube don't get nothing. Nothing at all is what they get. And you can find out all that information down at the bottom of the screen in what we call the begging bar. See that? See that right there? That's the begging bar. Or you just look in the description of the show. So we appreciate it. It helps us out. You know, go to the TomGulleyShow.com, and that's where our merch store is. There's plenty of merch there. Yes. Hey, as far as pre-show chat goes, which I generally really, really like, this would be the gold standard right here. This is Team Brittany. She's a moderator on a giant show, a really good show, 130,000 subscribers. And she knows everything about the subject. She's a great moderator. You need one on a show of that size. And she does a million other things as well. And look at this. Can't be here this evening, but stopping in early to give you a like. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, that is how to leave a pre-show comment. Yes. And here's another way. I said this show was viewer requested. Well, guess what? The viewer in question was none other than the intrepid, the intellectual, the well-informed Julian Zeezer. And he's given us a $3 super sticker. And it's his idea to do this show. And it's actually kind of an interesting show. You know what Marfan Syndrome is. You just don't know what the name of it is. If such a thing could be. Here, I'll tip my hand a little bit. You guys familiar with Peter Mayhew? Thank you, YouTube. Sorry, StreamYard, for that. Peter Mayhew. I'll just go ahead and put him full screen. Remember Chewbacca, that guy? He has Marfan Syndrome. And the fact that he has Marfan Syndrome is what allowed him to be, to a certain extent, Chewbacca. And we'll get into the reasons for that and all of that in a little while. And then you'll know what Marfan Syndrome is. But it was Julian Caesar's idea. And, of course, I thanked him lavishly. And then Michael Gardner, who, I don't know what your deal is. He's been waiting for a Bill Maher show. And then he makes the joke, he's got Marfan Syndrome. Okay, we're fine. We're on good ground. Then he starts in on some political stuff. Now, he's a huge fan, he says. He says he's a huge fan. Yeah, a huge fan, but he doesn't know certain things about why Bill Maher may have certain political beliefs. And it's like, if you're that big of a fan, you should already know. I shouldn't have to tell you. And I don't want to hear your political lunacy. I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to get into that discussion. You are not qualified to have that discussion with me. There's a reason I don't talk about politics on this show, and it's not because I don't have any political beliefs, outlooks, or thoughts or opinions. It's because the average person, and frankly, most people, don't do the research. They have intellectually disqualified themselves from the start of the conversation, and I don't want to entertain their Fruit Loopishness. So don't put it in the chat room. When you start talking about the Rothschilds, just put on your tinfoil hat, start in on the Illuminati, do all of that stuff. For crying out loud. It's just, yeah. Oh, here's one. I'm not a lunatic. I went to a very good law school and I don't need to be yelled at. Well, first of all, says you. I don't know that to be true. Second of all, yeah, you do need to be yelled at. If you're at liberty in a chat room to espouse the things you've been espousing in this chat, yeah, you do need to be yelled at. I'm sorry. And people that need to be yelled at are normally not the person who decides whether they need to be yelled at. How many times in history have somebody said, I need to be yelled at? Never. That's how many times. Let's see here. If you want me to put on serious mode, don't call me a Fruit Loop. I don't want you to. I don't think you have that mode. Sorry. Yes. Oh, you haven't espoused anything. Okay. Let's just go right back here. Let's see. And figure out when he became a Zionist, because I'm puzzled. Sounds like you espoused something. Yeah. Here's another thing, little mind reading that you were doing. I know what he would say. He would say he didn't know he was Jewish and was raised Catholic, but is an atheist. Wow. How did you acquire the skill to divine the thoughts of other people? When did this occur? For how long have you thought yourselves able to get into, seeing into the minds of other people? When did that occur? Did anyone ever tap you on the shoulder and say, you have a gift? You can see into the souls of other people. You're like Lamont Cranston. You're the shadow. Oh, here's another one. If you want to talk like men, give me a call-in number. Hey, law school guy that went to a great law school. There has, for the last, I don't know how long, been a link. I mention each show at the top of the page. If you want to be on the show, you click the link and you're on it. End of story. I had a call-in number on this show for, 6 years. Until on StreamYard, it's much easier just to put the link up. And that's what I've done. And it's been there for I don't know how long, and I mention it at least twice per show. I always mention it at the conclusion of the topic. Mr. Law School. I'm so rude. Yeah, you're the guy in my chat. You know what, Michael? It's been really great knowing you. We just might have to save you from the depths of our not having gone to a really good law school. What's the name of the school? You got that on you? I didn't think so. Well, give us your bar card number. Put that in the chat. We'll look you up. Anyway, don't do that at my chat. Oh, the University of San Diego. Okay. And I'm not a lawyer currently. Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're... See, these claims, they seem to get flimsier by the moment. Oh... oh, jeez. Let's see here. Well, you went to the 57th ranked law school in the nation, if indeed you did. And it wasn't good enough to keep you as a lawyer to this day. Let's see here. CIA says one syndrome I've always been fascinated with Gooner fans is the trust the process syndrome, one of the most sad and non-rewarding syndromes of them all. Hey, the CIA, I'm with you. This trust the process thing, I have been railing against that for the last 4 seasons. when was it 2022? You've got the biggest lead any team has ever had at Boxing Day, and you blow it, and you say trust the process. I'm not trusting a process like that. Every single year, when it really matters, when you really need to do something, you lose. That process does not, require being trusted. So, anyway. Now here's another one from the 57th ranked law school in the nation. Okay, Tom, I'm calling in. You can't call in. You have to click the link. That's not a phone number. You're basically having a Zoom meeting with me. Sharp as a marble. Anyway, you guys want to talk about Marfan's syndrome? I know Julian Zizou does. Marfan syndrome will be significant to you as we get later on into this. And I will tell you some very, 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 very famous people who are actually well known because they had Marfan syndrome. Now, there's two names of it. This is Marfan, singular, syndrome, or it can be Marfan's syndrome. And the reasons for that will be evident in here in a second. But it is a multisystemic genetic disorder that affects connective tissue. Now, why is that important? Because people with Marfan syndrome are very frequently people that are very tall, very thin. Think the Slender Man, if you're familiar with paranormal stuff. And they often have very long arms, legs, fingers, and toes. All right? Their joints are exceptionally flexible. And then they have a ton of really bad, unfortunate health complications that are associated with it. But those distinguishing physical features are what might cause you to identify someone, at least visually, as having Marfan syndrome, okay? I could get into the whole thing about what causes this. It's a mutation in one of the genes that makes something called fibrillin. And fibrillin helps regulate or create connective tissue. And if that gets messed with, then you don't have that no more. It's mostly hereditary, although it can occur as a genetic mutation. All right. There's no cure for it. Those this day and age who have it actually have a very good chance of leading a normal, happy life if it is diagnosed. If it's diagnosed, okay? So, okay, hold on here. Here we go. Yeah, this ought to be a. Yes, welcome to the Tom Gulley Show. You're on the air.
My mic isn't set up yet. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Tom. Can I apologize? Can
Sure.
I start off apologizing? I had no intent to even distract from the show. I'm so sorry I'm even calling in. I just feel really bad how this all went. I'm legitimately a fan. I wasn't trying to make any... I was literally trying to make a joke about Zionism. I'm not trying to espouse anything. I just want to say I'm sorry. I don't want to have an argument. That's all. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you for a great show.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. No blood, no foul. We'll move on. Even though, I don't know. I'm a forgiving sort, so fine. We'll just put that all behind us. CIA says, did Cousin It have Marfan syndrome? Doubtful, but possible. All right. So here's the thing about Marfan syndrome. It does a lot of things, most of them bad, and there's, 30 different signs and symptoms associated with Marfan syndrome. most prominent are the skeleton, these long, thin people. There's actually some photos that I acquired to show you Marfan syndrome, but they're very clinical photos, and the people in them were totally stark naked. 100% stark naked. That not a stitch of clothing, so I couldn't really use those. Yeah, I'm gonna put the poster child for Marfan syndrome, Peter Mayhew, up here. So God, thank you again, StreamYard. Oh, I didn't see this one. I tend to use very specific language. Why would you create an analogy for something? Anyway, I'm going to go get in my banana. You mean your car? I'm sorry, I was using an analogy. You don't understand. Let's see here. Why the long face? Terry Nee going right for the jugular on poor Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew, who I do not believe is with us anymore. Anyway, most of the signs that are readily available, just because I'm good and understanding the lesser thoughts of other people, don't start a bunch of nonsense and expect me to be charitable to your poor use of language, which you should have learned in law school at the 57th ranked law school in the nation. Most of the signs are associated with the skeletal system, as you can see with poor Peter Mayhew here. Now, when I say poor Peter Mayhew, that's a little bit of a, contradiction in terms, because Peter Mayhew was not poor, and much of the reason that he was rich was the fact that he had Marfan syndrome. He was very, very tall, very long arms, very long legs. Many people, not all, but many people with Marfan syndrome grow to above average height, and some have disproportionately long, slender limbs that are thin, and long fingers and toes. Now, I am going to demonstrate for you now something that is known as the Steinberg sign. The Steinberg sign. And this is one of the ways that they test for Marfan syndrome. It's a clinical test. It's an indicator, all right? And it's a really good indicator. If this happens, you probably have Marfan syndrome, although not guaranteed. If you take your hand and you put your thumb in your hand and clench your fist, and the tip of your thumb extends out here, right? If the tip of my thumb was extended past my palm, that means you have Marfan syndrome. It's known as the Steinberg sign. Besides the height and the limb proportions, people that have Marfan syndrome have abnormal curvatures of the spine, scoliosis, a thing called abnormal indentation, which is of the sternum. So you've got your chest cavity, right? And your sternum is like almost caved in, but it's that way all the time. And it can happen on like to the side and stuff, or it's abnormally extended. All right. So you've got that thing where it kind of sticks out in front, which is not fun. People with Marfan syndrome, or also known as Marfan's disease, but they call it syndrome now. Really abnormal joint flexibility. Hey, not always a bad thing. They have a high arched palate and many dental irregularities, stooped shoulders, and then stretch marks on the skin, which are sometimes unexplained and sometimes just because they grew so fast. Many of them have speech disorders resulted from the high palate and the gentle dental thing and the small jaws, very small jaws. Early osteoporosis can occur in people that have Marfan syndrome, which is degenerative joint disease. All right. Also, another problem that people with Marfan's disease have are their eyes. And there's a bunch of things that can happen to their eyes, but the main one is called lens dislocation. Now, because Marfan's disease affects connective tissues, there are connective tissues in the eye that locate where the lens of your eye is at. And if those go wonky, your lens becomes dislocated, and that creates vision problems. All right. It's not like you go blind. It's that you are severely nearsighted or severely farsighted, usually nearsighted. And, there you go. There you go. One of the bigger and more dangerous side effects of Marfan syndrome is the cardiovascular system, most importantly, the heart. And because of this heart problem, which is not just the heart, it's the aorta and all of the vessels of the heart, people with Marfan syndrome have fatigue, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, racing heartbeats, chest pain that will radiate to their back and their shoulders and their arms. They often have cold arms, hands, and feet because of the poor circulation. They have heart murmurs, right? And angina. Yes, angina. And this is because of that connective tissue in the heart. They have enlarged aortas. They have aortas with aneurysms on them. They also are very susceptible to something called aortic dissection, which is what John Ritter died from. It's basically the walls of your aorta become separated and blood rushes into the walls, and that's not cool. That's not cool. It forces the layers of the aorta apart. And in most cases, even if you're treated very, very quickly, if you were outside of an emergency room, you'd still not have a great chance of survival. That's a fatal thing that happens. There are other things. Your lungs can have problems. Normally due to the sternum, they can be compressed or expanded, collapsed even by your own body. And there you go. There you go. Nervous system. Another problem because of connective tissues. And mostly the nervous system problems are because of the spinal cord and the lack of connection there. The dural sac, which encases sorry, I made that hand gesture, which encases the spinal cord, can become weak. And when your spinal cord gets shifted around, you got trouble. Right here in River City, that's trouble with a T, and it rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Now, here's the deal. Each parent with Marfan syndrome has a 50% risk of passing this genetic issue on to any child. So therefore, about 75% of the cases of Marfan syndrome are inherited. The rest of them are due to genetic mutation. And those occur in about 1 in 20,000 births. It's not that common, but it does happen. It does happen. Well, looky here. The real drunk housewives of Australia, the lovely and talented, often imitated, never duplicated, Ms. Julie Angelina is with us. If you've never seen her program or you're not following her online, you're missing out. She used to do a cooking show every day, and I loved it. And she's very, 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 very busy. She has 7,000 children. I'm not joking. And she lives in, of course, Australia, and she saves kangaroos. And sometimes, not always, sometimes, particularly on Australia Day, girl and her husband, Mario, they'll throw a party. And I'm talking about a party. Technically, I don't know if they threw the party. I think they did. And it's a party. She's got a party going on. There she is, right there. And if she wanted to, she could click the link at the top of the page and be on the show. But she probably can't because she's too busy, and was it 7 in the morning there or something? 7:30? Tomorrow morning. It's Thursday there already. And she's probably going to work out. She goes and she works out every day. And then she scoreboards the rest of us while she's walking in or walking out or sometimes using the exercise equipment. And I'm like, okay, I better go run. Julie's up exercising. I'm a slug unless I... Julie Angelina, one of my favorite people in the world. Very favorite people in the world. And she's posting emojis that StreamYard is incapable of replicating. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Oh, by the way, Julie Angelina will probably want to revisit the show we did because I would always bring it up in her chat room. Skippy, 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 the bush kangaroo. Skippy, 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 a friend ever true. I did a whole show on Skippy the bush kangaroo, by golly. I did. It's the kind of thing I do. Yeah, I do. See, now I got to go back into the downer of the diagnosis for Marfan Syndrome. And we did have a viewer requested this topic. So I don't normally do genetic disorders, but I'll do a show on anything if somebody asks me. But I'm not doing one on Bill Maher. I would have loved to have seen that. Well, you know, Julie, they're all available for you on demand here on YouTube. However many shows. If I was as photogenic as Julie, I'd have thousands of more followers. And unfortunately, I'm stuck with this. Hey, by the way, since we're at the bottom of the hour, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, do all those free things. They only cost you a click. That will help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing algorithm. And we do have super chats. We do have memberships. We do have the ever-popular PayPal where you give the most, I get the most, Google gets nothing. All that information is in the begging bar here at the bottom of the screen, or it's in the description of the show. We would love it if you could help us out that way. And if you can't, that's okay too. We don't want to get anybody bankrupt here. Advocate sound financial. Okay. Here's the thing about your diagnosing of, let's just put Peter Mayhew up here again, the guy that's the most Marfan Syndrome. What is going on? The most Marfan Syndrome famous in the world. Here's the thing about Marfan Syndrome. I believe it was named when someone identified it in 1896. The criteria to diagnose it was not agreed upon until 1996. It's extremely difficult to diagnose in children because they don't really show symptoms until they reach puberty, as Johnny Carson used to say, puberty, adolescence. The diagnosis is usually based on family history and a combination of major and minor indicators. Now, this is really, to me, awful. And I don't mean it's awful, people doing awful things. I mean, it's a bad thing to have because when they diagnose you, you have to have it's like a bingo card or something. It's like you have to have this disorder and 2 others and this thing wrong with you and 2 more. And there's a whole scale of them. It's so many that, that's how they do it, For example, there's 4 different skeletal signs they can look for. One of them being the Steinberg sign. When you clench your fist, if your thumb tip comes out on this side, you probably have Marfan Syndrome. And then you have to have 1 or more signs of another body system issue, like the ocular lens dislocation or the ever popular cardiovascular problem. So And there's a bunch of these things. I'm just going to go through some of the hits. Aortic aneurysm or dilation, right? Bicuspid aortic valve, cysts, degenerative disc disease, emphysema, above average height, heart palpitations, high arched palate. I mean, do I really want to go through this? It's kind of a downer. Uh-oh, there she is. I gotta go, darling. I've got to get my boys to school. Oh, gosh. Julie Angelina, you can join us anytime. You're just the greatest. That's all I have to say. This woman is a whirlwind of activity. She's just doing stuff from sun up to sundown. So thank you for showing up. Please stop by again sometime when you can pop on with us. Pop on. Pop on. We say pop on a lot. And Julie, tell me a topic you'd like me to do, and I'll do it. I think I've proven I'll do any topic. I mean, after all, I am doing Marfan Syndrome. We do have fun topics here. We don't always do. All right. By the way, that methodology by which they pair up things like an aortic root problem plus 2 lens problems, that is known as the Ghent scale, which you don't want to have. Yes. There are other disorders which kind of do the same thing as Marfan syndrome. Not all of them, but some of them. I'm not going through them because aren't we depressed enough already? There is no cure for Marfan syndrome, but life expectancy has increased significantly since the 1970s and now is pretty much the same as the average person. And that is due to advancements in detecting heart issues and some of the more fatal aspects of Marfan syndrome. Regular checkups are recommended to monitor those heart valves and the aorta, right? Marfan syndrome is treated by handling each one of the issues as it arises. And in particular, if young children are identified as having it, they begin medicating them immediately to slow the progress of these issues, right? And that's pretty much what all you can do is slow the process. All right. Now here's a little thing. The American Heart Association has made the following recommendations to people with Marfan syndrome with no aortic dissection or a mild one. Here are the things that are probably permissible if you have Marfan syndrome. All right. You can bowl, you can golf, you can skate, not ice hockey. You can snorkel, you can do brisk walking, you can treadmill, you can do stationary biking, modest hiking, and you could do tennis. How about that? Now here's some things of intermediate risk: basketball, racquetball, squash, skiing, soccer, flag football, baseball, softball, biking, lap swimming, motorcycling, horseback riding. Here's some things you should never do, ever: bodybuilding, weightlifting, ice hockey, rock climbing, windsurfing, surfing, scuba diving, professional boxing. Just kidding. I just put that one on the list myself because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't let you do it. As I mentioned, surgery is a big solution to a lot of these heart issues and some of the other things. During pregnancy, women with Marfan syndrome are at a significant risk of aortic dissection, which is often fatal, even, as I mentioned, when very rapidly treated. Women with Marfan syndrome should get a thorough assessment, echocardiograms, all that stuff. Probably not advised. Yes, probably not advised. There's things they do to treat this, the beta blockers and, of course, surgeries, other medications to treat. I mean, the surgeries for the eye, if you want your lens undislocated and stuff like that. Marfan syndrome affects males and females equally. There is no ethnic or geographical bias. And about 1 in 5 to 10,000 people has Marfan syndrome. It was named after the person who pediatrician, in fact, described the condition in 1896 after noticing the features in a 5-year-old girl, and that was Antoine Marfan, French guy. The gene linked to the disease was first identified by Francesco Ramirez at Mount Sinai Medical Center in New York City in 1991. Now, there are some famous people that have had Marfan syndrome. What do we got here? Julie Tester's ham-hand syndrome. Yeah, I don't think it's ham-hand syndrome. I think it's a separate. Genetic disorder. CIA says sounds like an Arsenal pep talk with all the processes. What is it with you and Arsenal? Is it our fault we're number one in the table right now? Is that our fault? Look, I think you take that squad that we have right now and you give it to a different coach, and then I wouldn't feel uneasy. But this guy, they have choked every single time. What about the season they lost 3 games on the trot and got eliminated from the Champions League? What about the season that, you know what I'm saying? The last time Man City won it and, just pipped us out. All they had to do was beat Villa at home and win out. That's all they had to do. Nope, couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done. Could not get it done. Let's see here. Here's some famous people. Well, let's see. How is there no gender bias toward men with Marfan's that leads me to believe it isn't hereditary? I don't know what that means. I don't know what. That's not even an inverse relationship. What? No. What are you talking about? Gender bias? It affects men and women equally. Gender bias. What? It's biological. Gender bias is a sociological affectation. 57th ranked in the nation. It was a good international break. Lots of players returning fit. Well, I don't know about that. I love how the international coaches always apologize to the club coaches. What are you apologizing for? If I was a player on the international team and they were making me do stupid things, I'd say I'm not doing them. Let's see here. Gender bias, like more accounting, and I don't. You just literally read gender bias as the term I was repeating your vocabulary. Oh, okay. Yeah. I have said nothing about a gender bias for Marfan syndrome. Not one word. I said it affects men and women equally. That is genetic, scientific information. There's no bias involved. I have hope for you this season. City's defense is a joke. Like I said before, you guys need to shake the loser mentality. I tell you what. At a certain point, you just quit reading people's posts. It's just in the chat. It's just, I can't fix what's wrong with you. All right. Famous people with Marfan syndrome. You guys remember Yule Gibbons? Some of you may not. Yule Gibbons was a guy that most famously advertised grape nuts. He was a naturalist. He advocated the eating of raw foods and healthy foods and, hi, I'm Yule Gibbons. Have you ever ate part of a pine tree? Many parts are edible. And then he'd tell you all the edible parts. Well, let's see here. Device is not connected. All right, there you go. Devices not connected. 57th ranked in the nation. We mentioned Peter Mayhew several times. You might recognize this dude from lots of movies and TV, including Fast Times at Ridgemont High and many others. And that is Vincent Schiavelli. He's in tons of things. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, millions and millions and millions of things. And he was a person that had Marfan Syndrome. Okay, here we go. Let's get potty mouth on the screen. Yeah, you got some language you'd like to use with us today?
I'm not using any raw language at all.
You are in the chat room.
Okay, that's fair.
No, that's not fair. That's true.
Okay, it's true. I'm just asking, what is your fucking problem?
Goodbye. I'm not using any bad language at all. Oh. And now out comes the ban hammer. '57th ranked in the nation, and you can't even keep from cursing. You are a moron. Type some more. I can hear you. Not that bright. Hasn't even looked up to the screen to see that he's on the show. Goodbye. That's a pretty bright fella there. All right, let's just invite them to be gone forever. All right, let's see here. Was it Arsenal? Oh yes. Well, I hope so too. Long fingers and joints give Marfan's people an advantage when playing instruments. Yes, it does. We're getting there, Julian. Ghost, get off my train. Goat says that's just full-blown autism. That's funny. All right, some other people. This fella right here is a person that suffered from Marfan Syndrome. Some of you who like popular shows and things might know who Matthew Cardaropel is. He's usually in shows as a nerd or someone socially awkward. He would be a person in the TV series Stranger Things. Huh? Everybody ever see Stranger Things? As a worker at the Hawkins Arcade and henchperson of indeterminate gender in that series. He played Keith in the film Free Guy. He is also a person that's had supporting roles in things like the TV series Reservation Dogs. Yes, so a lot of these people, not a lot, but some of these people do have the ability to at least gain employment because of the way they look. Now, I know Julian Zeezer is fond of this gentleman, Rachmaninoff, who there's a lot of historical figures and celebrities that tend to appear on lists of people with Marfan syndrome, but the case-to-case evidence is speculative, questionable, or refuted. And that's just because it's hard to diagnose. They may have never seen the need to get diagnosed. And there you go. Osama bin Laden has been rumored to have it, and that's been called likely false. The famous blues player, Robert Johnson, that nobody really knows. Abraham Lincoln was thought to have it. That has been disputed. But they do think maybe he did based on his physical characteristics and family history. A very famous opera singer, Niccolo Pagani, was a violinist and composer. Paganini. Michael Phelps has been thought to have it, the legendary Olympic swimmer, and he does not. He has had that proven, no, I do not. This is Sergei Rachmaninoff, and that is disputed, but although he exhibited some of the characteristics of Marfan syndrome, he did not exhibit others. So they really, really don't know. Joey Ramone, many people believe, may have had Marfan's syndrome. And then Tutankhamun, some thought he did. They've tested it, and he did not. He did not, but he was thought to have it for quite some time. And that's really all I have to tell you about Marfan syndrome. It really is. Let's see. Rachmaninoff looks mostly normal, but piano players say he could reach the intervals that normal people found impossible. Yes, he was quite famous, and it's interesting that his hands are folded there because he was known to have what they call a reach, which is the distance from your thumb to your pinky that no other pianist had, and therefore he could reach the keys faster, easier, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all I got to tell you about Marfan Syndrome. Yeah. Yes. Oh, there's some stuff in the private chat. I can't put it in the regular chat. That from our former friend, Michael Gardner. You ready for a fight? Coward, you are a coward. I don't have a webcam, coward. You don't need a webcam. You started with your buffoonery at the start of the show. I made it really, 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 really obvious that I will not abide your buffoonery. CIA says if you want to know if Osama bin Laden had it, check CIA medical records from where he got kidney dialysis weeks before 9/11 in an American military hospital in the Middle East. That sounds to me to be a conspiracy theory. I do not believe in conspiracy theories. Traditionally. Okay. What's your parting words for everybody, Michael? Got any parting words? Would you like to curse some more on my stream?
Tom, you don't even know who I am, man. I would love to talk to you about this off air. I don't think you care about me. I know you don't care.
I don't know who you are.
You don't know who I am?
Why
That's fine.
should I? Do you think I'm supposed to know every single person that comes into this show?
Why do you insult me? There's no reason to insult me.
Because you say silly things. You've used profanity not only in my chat room, but in my show you've used profanity.
Okay, I apologize for saying it on air. I didn't know.
You don't just have to say I apologize and it gets wiped away.
Okay.
You know, you said, why are you insulting me? Oh, gosh, I've got a long-standing don't swear. And really, someone who's gone to the 57th ranked law school.
I've been watching you for...
Okay. So you're going to have to not talk when I talk. Another long-standing practice of this show. I let you talk, you let me talk. And I don't even just, you let me talk. I get to talk. This is my show. I think I'm the one that does all the work to make it happen, not you. All right? And if you're about to tell me how long you've been watching or listening to my show, there are a lot of people that watch and listen to this show that have been doing a lot longer than you without bringing their ridiculous Fruit Loop ideas into my chat room.
What I guess what I was trying to say was the opposite of that. I'm not trying to say I've been here a long time. I'm saying I've only been here a month and a half. Honestly, I'm not trying to break any rules. I don't want to get in a fight with you, Tom. I like you. I just look. You banned me. I'm not going to talk anymore in the chat. I'm going to enjoy your show. I tried to come in with good intentions watching your show and putting in comments trying to be funny. And I honestly, you can call me unaware of who I am as a person, but I didn't realize I was okay. I didn't realize I was crossing any lines that was grating on you. And honestly, you're right. This has happened in my personal life too. I do grate on people, and that's not anything anybody doesn't want to work on. But I guess as a person I like, and I like your content, I just didn't expect you to be mean to me personally. And I know that it's mostly as a response to my own behavior, and I get that. But just I wish you had a little bit more patience with me, because I don't want to be your enemy, and I don't want to be made fun of. I like your show.
You're not my enemy.
And I wasn't doing anything. Honestly, I wasn't doing anything intentionally to try.
I'm doing a show here.
A stupid pun.
I'm doing a show here.
I get it.
You're not my enemy. You're someone
I'm nobody. I got it.
Keep interrupting.
Sorry.
That might grate on people. You are a person that if you're going to be a distraction and put just lunacy into my chat room and profanity and certainly on the air that I don't need to have in the process.
I mean,
there's no emotion involved in it. There's no vindictiveness involved in it. It's just,
yes, there is.
Hey,
yes, there is, Tom.
Hey, no, there's not. You can't tell me what I think or feel.
I can tell you how you've behaved towards me, and
you can tell me how you feel I behaved towards you. This is not uncommon.
Me to be a troll or something, and I'm not.
I didn't say you were a troll.
I think you expected me. I'm saying
I don't think you're a troll.
I'm sorry, I can't get into your head. You're right.
I don't think you're a troll. I think it's worse than that. I think that what you're doing is not intended. A troll intends to do these things. I don't think you can help yourself.
I mean, I was listening, and I was trying to make a legitimate comment about Marfan Syndrome, and I was thinking it occurred more in men than in women because basically hereditary X, the XY and versus the XX gene, you get 8 times more of certain diseases in men than you do in women. And that's what I meant by gender bias. I used it wrong. I wasn't trying to use it in the sociological way. I thought I heard those words.
It's not a matter of trying to use it in the sociological way. That's the meaning, and you're interrupting again. That's the meaning of gender bias. It's not a scientific word other than sociologically. Genes don't have a gender bias. Marfan's disease doesn't. A lot of genetic
have
disorders.
Gender biases. They do.
No, they don't.
Yes,
no, they
I
don't.
have psoriasis.
No, they don't. They
bias.
have.
It's
no.
Just you choosing to.
A bias
that
is not possible. A bias is not possible in science. Do you know what the word bias means?
Yes.
There are predispositions. There are likelihoods, but bias. No, I'm sorry. That's
You're
not
choosing
accurate.
to not understand what I mean. That's
no,
what I'm saying.
Choosing to be accurate with words.
Tom, all you had to
That's
say
what
was,
I'm
what
choosing
do you mean
to
by
do.
that? Or you just assumed you just called me an idiot for no reason and
I
said
didn't call you an idiot.
Something earlier.
Never once called you an idiot.
Earlier, you implied it.
Well,
yeah,
implied.
57th best law school. I only said that. I didn't say that.
You keep interrupting me when I'm speaking.
Me.
Okay. Whose show is it? Whose show is it? Can you get that through? You do not have an equal footing here. Would you interrupt a judge? Certainly at the 57th ranked law school in the nation, they would have taught you not to do that. Well, on this show, you might notice it's called the Tom Gulley Show. It's not called the Michael Gardner Show.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Yeah. Anyway, good luck to you, sir. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to unban you later on. But
I'll do my best to behave.
Do whatever you want.
I'm sorry.
Do whatever you want. I don't care.
I'm going to do less.
How
about that?
Do what you want, but don't feel like you can do whatever you want and then not escape scrutiny.
I honestly wasn't trying to upset anything.
Well, then congratulations. Without trying, you managed to do a bunch of things that I blatantly said not to do.
Okay. You're right.
All right. You have a good evening.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I've been begging for people to use the link, and by the way, like, share, subscribe. We do have super chats. We do have memberships. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Rachmaninoff, Osama bin Laden. Well, I don't know. Not a conspiracy. Okay. Vivaldi, Robert Johnson, Buckethead, Paul Gilbert, Tony Rice, bluesgrass legend, not the NFL player. Goat is laughing at something. I don't know what it is. It's in the private chat now. It says Tom doesn't have to be this way. No, I don't. I choose to. Every time I think I'm an autist, I realize I'm doing pretty well. Thanks to others. You're fine. Judy Tester says, Tom will unban you for $100. Nah, it won't cost that much. Goat says, oh, brother. Judy says, I have autism. I can't help it. Terry says, I'm a good troll. I wouldn't even call you a troll. I'd call you a wiseacre. You're without question a wiseacre. Sounds like this guy has, I don't know what that means. Oh, Marfan Syndrome. Let's see here. Terry Nee says, my genes are awesome. That's what your wife told me. Where the men at? Where the men at? Tom, have you been checked for Marfan's disease? No offense. I haven't. Well, yes, I have. I did the Steinberg test at the start of the show. See, if you do this thing I'm doing right here, and your thumb extends past your palm when you clench your fist like that, then you might have it. Actually, when I say might, I mean yeah, you probably have it. Wow. I didn't realize that guy was going to be so main character syndrome with me. Anyway, is that a burn? That's not a burn. Actually, I'm going to unban Michael after the show's over, mostly just because he used the link, which nobody does. I got to give him props for that. Let's see. Is that a burn on your hand? No, what that is my hand being on the thing next to the cursor. Not the cursor, the mouse for the whole show. At least he didn't cry. It got dark there for a second. It got dark. You can't live your life projecting your insecurities on other people, and you can't, to a certain extent, worry about what they think quite so much. To be fair, I thought he was trolling with the Rothschild Zionism thing. I didn't realize he was serious. I think he was serious. He sounded like he wasn't crying. Look, if you have those beliefs, have them. I'm not stopping you. I encourage you to have whatever beliefs you want to. But if you have them around me, first of all, I have a long-standing do not talk about politics on this show. Now, okay. All right. Don't want to talk about that stuff. But if you do, don't. Red palms are another sign of Marfan Syndrome. Well, explain this hand then. This one, yes, it's just from being next to the mouse. Let's see. I just assumed Tom might have it because he's such a tall drink of water. Yeah, but these aren't thin. These gunboats here, those aren't thin. I'm not unusually flexible, trust me, especially at this age. Terry Nee will concur with me there. Oh gosh, we're getting close to the top of the hour, and I know there's some shows I want to see. So what I'm going to do here is tell you that tomorrow's show will be really awesome. It's about the Fort Worth trio, 3 people that went missing from a mall in Fort Worth in 1974 without a trace. And like a lot of these cases, a lot of inexplicable, weird, creepy, like, why did that happen stuff. And we're going to go over that tomorrow. And then tomorrow we'll also reveal next week's topics, which I will tell you right now in advance. One of them will be the Indiana State Fair stage collapse. Not fun. The Yuba County 5, which is 5 people, that'll be a week from tomorrow, went missing in Yuba County, California. Just disappeared. I think we're going to cover Albert Dryden. Albert Dryden, a famous case in England about a man versus the government that may appeal to some of you, and then I haven't figured out what else we're going to do. So that's going to do it. I'm looking at that old clock on the wall. Get a trackpad, Tom. Takes a week or two to get used to, but better for a mouse than a mouse for most things. I've had a trackpad before. I don't like a trackpad. I like a trackball, but I don't like a trackpad. Magic trackpad. Yeah, I know what it is. It's just use your finger. I used to set them up for people. I went missing and nobody noticed. All right, here we go. We're gonna get you out of here with, what's the song? We're gonna do Tom Gulley Rides the Waves. I think we're gonna do Tom Gulley Rides the Waves, and yeah. Looking at that old clock on the wall and like the Reverend Al Green, I got to get up on out of here. You don't have to go home and you can't stay here. Till next time. Why does it always have to be this way? Till next time. Whoops. I don't want that. I want this. Till next time. We'll see you next time.
He serves the streams where voices clash, chasing echoes in a digital splash. Through the static, he calls his line a podcaster's quest, one of a kind. Tom Gulley rides the wave. Tom Gulley rides the wave. Through the noise, through the haze. Hey, Tom Gulley rides the wave. Yeah. With the mic in hand, he sails the air, dodging trolls. He doesn't care. Opinions crash like thunder